Tell me, where's Boaz when we need him? Of course, you know, we always talk about Esther, but when do we actually talk about Ruth? And when do we talk about Boaz? I mean, Ruth, she was a woman of good faith, meaning that, you know, she was selfless and she was basically just the qualities of someone who just had good character. So she was selfless, she was rather honorable, and on top of that as well, she was obedient and submissive. And not submissive in like the terms of, oh my gosh, like, you know, do as I say, and you know, no. But she trusted Naomi fully well, and God repaid her as well, you know. Boaz, how was Boaz? Boaz, he sparked interest. He liked Naomi, he liked Ruth. The moment that he heard of her, not even seen her, the moment that he heard of her. He was an honorable man. That's just the way that they describe him in the Bible, right? So why am I bringing all this up, right? Honestly, I don't even know. I just wanted to talk about it. I came across a note, which I will insert. But before we do that, my name is Ashley, and this is The Pink Sofa. A little bit about the story, right? And a little bit about me as well, right? I did not believe in marriage. I didn't believe in none of that when I was growing up. And I mean, I came from a two-parent household where they were married, but I didn't have good examples of marriage in my life. And so when I hit about 20 years old, because everyone, they were always talking about the American dream, and even my own sister was like, oh, I'm gonna get married, you know, the white picket fence, everything else, right? For me, my goal was always, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get married. No, absolutely not. I'm not gonna do that. Maybe now as, you know, a 27-year-old, but me growing up, I was like, absolutely not. That is not what is going to happen with me ever. I always just saw myself traveling, making a lot of money, and having kids on my own and traveling with my kids. Like, that was just my ultimate dream and my ultimate goal. And then one day I hit about 20 years old and I was in the church faithfully. And no, this channel is not just about Christianity or anything else like that. I follow the Bible, or most of the time I read the Bible and I use it as a spiritual tool, but I will never just claim I am a Christian, because I am more than just that, if that makes sense. So anyway, back to the story. So when I was 20, I just randomly had this, I was in the church and I just randomly had this feeling to go and read the story of Ruth. It came into my spirit for me to read the story of Ruth. And I did, but when I read it, because of the fact that I had no interest in getting married, I didn't see it as a good story. I saw it as a story of like, they forced her to get married. She just lost her husband, and now she's getting married to somebody else. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, y'all making her do all these things. Like, I just had a really bad perception of it. Then when I became an adult, and I actually read, I'm pretty sure I just said, I just inserted that clip. I will always wonder what if, and you will never know if it was the right thing because you weren't willing to take a leap of faith. I will keep you in my prayers. Keep in touch. Love and respect. Always yours truly. So-and-so, right? And I was like, oh, and they wrote the signature and they put XOXOXO and they put their numbers on there. And I was like, that is like the cutest thing that I had seen in like such a long time. And like, I didn't even think that like that type of love, especially now, even exists. And even if this letter was from so long ago, because I'm gonna keep it at the place that I'm working at, because it's not mine. It's not mine, so I'm not gonna keep it, you know. That's kind of weird, but I only kept it for mainly the purpose of like, oh, like, I don't know, it just touched something in my heart, like, for real. I don't know, man. From when I was at work, I just sat there and I was like, you know what, one day I may end up getting married, like one day. One day, if it doesn't happen, then it's cool. I mean, I never intended for that to happen for me in the first place. But, I mean, hey, it would be cool for me to settle down and be with somebody for the rest of my life. I mean, you never know. But this is how the story of Ruth and Boaz goes. So, this is about to be something crazy to edit, but it is a-okay. So, this is the story. This is how it goes. So, Naomi, she was married to Elam, if that's how you say his name, right? She had 3 sons. Or she had a couple sons. And they were married, 2 of them were married to Ruth and to Oprah. So Oprah and Ruth's husbands, they both died, right? Now they are widows. And, you know, sad, whatever. The next thing you know, Naomi, her husband died. So now she has nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, she has nobody. She ain't got no sons. She ain't got no husband. She's over here, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Oh my gosh, God. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Just like, yo, I'm just imagining right now. This is just not laughing at her pain. That's wrong. But I'm just saying, like, I'm just thinking about me editing this. So, yeah, she's over here crying. And the next thing you know, right, she was like, oh, yo, Oprah, Ruth, y'all can go back. You guys are Moabites, y'all can go. Like, it's cool. Like, I'll be good over here. I can just go back home. You know, I'll figure it out. And Oprah was like, bye. You ain't gotta tell me twice. I'm not about to be starving out here. I can go back home with my parents. Deuces, right? But Ruth was like, I'm not about to leave you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm your daughter-in-law. When I married your son, you became my mom. So, yeah, no, we're in this together. Like, let's head back over to the land of Israel, and we'll just figure it out from there. And, you know, Naomi was like, oh, are you sure? And she was like, yeah, I'm sure. Like, I'm gonna go with you. So, back in those times, it was real, like, it was not good for them because they're widows, and usually the men, they have to provide for them. So they're really out there to fend for themselves. So they came back. And, you know, not only that, but Ruth was also like, you know what, I'm gonna go on ahead and I'm gonna just, you know, I'm with you. I'm gonna also follow your God. Whoever they are, I'm gonna follow them. I'm gonna follow your faith. So I guess I left a good impression on God, you know what I'm saying? So shoot, they went and they were going. They went to the land of Israel, and, you know, people, they heard about what happened, so they were back at their land and everything else. And so, yeah, so technically no one owned the land, even though Naomi was there, because back in those days, yeah. But we're gonna speak about it as if it's modern, okay? So they own the land, but they ain't own the land. So Ruth, Naomi told her, hey, look, go to these fields, and or go to a specific field, and, you know, just gather the harvest, or whatever the case may be. Just basically like, hey, you need to provide whatever. Ruth was like, all right, bet I got you, right? They go to the heart, or she goes to the field in the morning, and she tells the people there, like, or the woman there, like, hey, look, like, I'm not here to take none of your stuff. I know I'm not from here or nothing like that, so I don't feel entitled to none of y'all stuff. Just like, all I ask is that, you know, you guys pick up your stuff, take all the good stuff. I don't even care. Just let me have the scraps. Just let me have the leftovers. I gotta provide for both me and Naomi. So, and they were like, all right, but, you know, Naomi, she's one of us, and you're with Naomi, so you're kumbaya, my lord, right? So, next thing you know, right? Boaz, when I read it again this time, right? Boaz already heard of Ruth, right? So you never know. Your future husband may already know of you, but you don't know that he knows of you, right? So Boaz, he, you know, heard of her, because obviously where they're at, everybody, they know about everybody's business, you know how it is. You just know how it is. Things ain't never change. So it was actually his field, right? So Boaz got money, right? He came out there one day, you know, while she was in the back, while everybody else finished harvesting and stuff like that, and he came up to the woman and was like, who is that? And they were like, oh, that's Ruth. Oh, she's a Moabite, right? And so he came up to Ruth and he was like, yo, Ruth, like, I heard about you, like, what's going on? She's like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, please, like, let me, like, just let me take the scraps, it's cool, like I'm not trying to cause no problems. And he was like, no, you're good, like I heard about you, I heard about your situation, like you can take as much as you need. And he was like, actually, boom, went over here, gave her a bunch of barley for her to take, gave her a bunch of things, like give her a bunch of food, just started providing for her, right, in front of all these women, right? And he very clearly showed interest in her without outright saying, hey, look, I like you. So she went home, and Naomi asked, was like, yo, so what's going on? Like, how much did you come back with? And she's like, well, I came back with basically, in terms, I came back with 30 pounds of barley, which is a lot, obviously, right? And she was like, well, who gave this to you? And she was like, oh, Boaz did. And she was like, Boaz? Okay, Boaz gave me some. Girl, I'm gonna need you to dress up real good, like dress up, get yourself real cute and real pretty, like, you know, put on your best perfume, make sure you look nice. And I'm gonna need you to take yourself down there, right? Because he's one of the people who's our king and he's supposed to help us. So I'm gonna need you to go over there and basically offer yourself up as to be your husband, right? And she was like, all right, Naomi, whatever you want me to do, I got you, right? So she went to the resting place pretty much. That's just the way that I am just gonna kind of translate it to y'all. But she went to the resting place and she was like, hey y'all, like, I'm gonna hide in here real quick. You know, Boaz, he finished getting food and everything else like that, and he was drunk. He went over and he slept in his bed. He was like, all right, cool. Boom, boom, boom. I'm in there. Slept, right? But she said, Naomi gave her specific instructions. She said, you need to lay at his feet. Obviously horizontally, or more so like this, you know, lay at his feet, and lift up the blanket, lift up the blanket, to expose his leg while he's sleeping pretty much, right? So obviously Boaz was there first, and she came in and she was whatever. In the middle of the night, he woke up, he was like, what the hell is going on? Why are my legs exposed? And then he saw Ruth at the bottom, and she's like, yo, like, I'm not trying to cause no problems, but like, cover me with your cloth or with your cloak. And he was like, oh, you want me to marry you? I know that's right, period. I've been waiting, right? And so she told him, like, look, like, we need this help, whatever. And so he's like, look, honestly, there's somebody else in front of you before me. So let me see what's going on with that, right? And so he said, and if they don't want you, I got you, I'm gonna marry you. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, bet, thank you so much, right? So Boaz, his tricky self, what he did is he went up to the place and he was like, hey, you person next in line, what's up? And he was like, what's going on? He said, oh, you remember Melem or Elam? Sorry, I'm not trying to mispronounce his name, but you remember the dude that died, you know, Naomi's husband? He was like, yeah, what about him? Yeah, you know, he got land, right? He's like, yeah, that's supposed to be my land. He was like, yeah, but you know, like, if you get that land, you're gonna have to marry the Moabite, right? And he was like, marry the Moabite? Nah, you want it? You can have that land, go ahead. Ain't nobody about to charge my name. You got me messed up. I ain't marry a Moabite. Go ahead. He's like, give me your shoe. I can only imagine how that went, right? So, boom, he got the shoe, gave it to him, and he came back and was like, mind you, while all this was going on, right before he went to the town and this interaction happened, he was like, hey, Ruth, don't let nobody see you being here because it just is gonna look bad. Like, it's gonna look like something's going on, and like, I know that you haven't been talking to nobody else and everything else. And even before then, he told the other men to not talk to her anyway. So like, of course no one's gonna be talking to her. Of course she's not gonna be talking to nobody else anyway. So like, I mean, she's getting scraps. So what? So all in all, things worked out. Naomi told her, like, watch, by the end of the day, with the way that Boaz is, he wants you, sis. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And sure enough, it did happen. And then she ended up having a son. And then, I think his name was God. I already forgot. But he ended up having a son. And then he ended up having Jesse. And then Jesse ended up having David. So, I mean, shoot, that's literally the story of Boaz and Ruth. So, why is it significant? Because we should not have to pursue your husband. Like, your husband more than likely already knows who you are, right? And I can even say that for me too, right? I know my shirt says boys make great pets, and they do, but we're looking for men, all right? We're looking for men. So yeah, we really should just sit, and we should really take the time to find ourselves in every aspect about ourselves first. And you know, people, they always kind of talk about Esther, but they don't really talk about Ruth, and they don't talk about, you know, Ruth was kind of counted out. She was, number one, not even from that land, and number two, she also as well was a widow, and back then they really had that stigma against widows as well. So it was just like all the odds were kind of against her, and she still, God chose to have her get married to somebody who was of a high lineage. So don't ever consider yourself counted out on anything. Not even just talk about marriage, just in general. Don't ever consider yourself counted out. God always has the last word and always has the last say in everything that you do in your life. So yeah, just take it however it resonates, and you know what? Your Boaz will be out there, and just continue to go and do things that you need to do, and focus on yourself before looking for a man, because you shouldn't look for a man. The man should always pursue you first before you. Don't ever pursue them. Don't ever, just from personal experience, don't ever go on ahead and, you know, pursue a man, because when you show a man that you're interested in them, meaning like you show them first that you're interested in them, they take advantage of that. Let them show you that they're interested in you first. Okay, I think that was basically kind of the whole thing. This is the first episode of The Pink Sofa. Please feel free to leave a comment, leave likes, subscribe, do whatever it is that you want to do, whatever feels comfy for you, and we'll speak next time, okay? I love you guys, and may you experience the love that you've always wanted to have and wanted to give in your life, okay?